Real talk. If you could have the 9 lives of a cat, would you do it? And do you think that it would turn you into a total sociopath, just like a cat? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Davey, Deathray here with another episode review of Tales from the Crypt. Now, we're going through the whole entire series in order, but we are skipping the second episode, which is called And All Through the House, because that one is a Christmas episode, so I'm going to hold off and do something really special right around the holiday season. That'll be awesome. I can't wait to show that to you guys. But right now, we're going to get into episode 3, which is Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone. And we have some special guests this time around. We've got Steven and Curtis from Twisted Locker, a couple YouTubers out in Wales. And I found their channel a few months ago, totally fell in love with their content right away. They have great chemistry, great taste in movies. I like their back and forth. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check those guys out and give them a sub as well. And I do want to touch on a couple things I forgot in the first episode. Guys, I totally did not mention John Kassir's amazing performance as the Crypt Keeper here. His voice is incredible. The Crypt Keeper is an awesome host for this really fun show. The puppetry work is great as well, so hats off to that crew. And yeah, just felt like one of those things, I don't even know how I missed it. And then the other elephant in the room is the hauntingly beautiful theme written by the one and only Danny Elfman. Now, I love his music going all the way back to his band Oingo Boingo. I think they're a really fun group. And then, of course, his contributions to soundtracks like Scrooged, Beetlejuice, Batman, The Simpsons theme. I mean, this guy's work knows no bounds, and he found a great way to compose a theme here that fits perfectly with the show's mood and tone. Shout out to a couple of our subscribers. Of course, we have Eli Cortez, who sent me the first 4 seasons of Tales from the Crypt, and that sparked the whole idea to cover the series. So thank you so much, Eli. Really appreciate it, bud. And then we've got one of our great subscribers, MAGA Cat. He and I were chit-chatting in Instagram DM and just talking about the series. He had mentioned that this was his favorite episode, and I was like, you know what? It's up next. I'll give you a shout out. So there it is. Shout out to Eli Cortez and MAGA Cat. All right, now that we're all caught up, I want to remind you guys to please like, subscribe, share the video with someone that you know that would enjoy this kind of content, and of course, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this episode, how you feel about the show on a whole, and don't forget to show some love for our guys from Twisted Locker. And having said that, let's get on to the review. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It was awesome being a guest on your channel just the other week talking about hidden gem horror. That was took a while to put that one together, but I'm happy that we could get together really quick to talk about Tales from the Crypt. You know, we're going through the whole entire series here on the channel, and I've been reaching out to some folks just seeing about getting those collabs going, kind of shaking it up a bit, and you guys were really quick to jump on a couple episodes, so thank you so much for joining me, Jenks and Curtis. How are you guys doing?
It's just desperation, Davey.
You just had to have something to do this weekend.
Do you know what? Oh. I absolutely jumped at the opportunity to not have to do any work. So there's no editing for me. There's no prepping. I can't wait to just jump on a podcast and then walk away and wait for the video to drop.
It's great. It's awesome. And but, you know what? It's kind of easier for me too, because I don't have to do all the talking. It's great.
Yes. But I'm a huge fan of Tales from the Crypt. I had to jump on this one. I rewatched them all about 2 years ago, so they were still quite fresh in my mind. But yeah, it's a fantastic idea, and I love this whole thing you're doing with the weekly episodes. Can't wait to get into it, mate.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And then, so Curtis, you were born when the show was in the middle of its run. So you caught up, you know, I would imagine as an adult, or did you see these growing up as a kid? Did anyone, you know, was Steven showing you these episodes as you were growing up?
Yeah, no. So I think it was reruns, but they were on late night TV. Maybe I was like 8, 9 or 10 when I got into them, but I remember very freshly watching these ones when I was young. I think they put an episode or 2 on in the night. And it was always something I'd look forward to on the weekend. And then the first time I'd watched them all in one go then was like 2 years ago, since I was a kid.
Now, Jenks, were you watching this on the original run?
So I dipped into a few episodes when I was young. I used to watch this. I used to watch Tales from the Dark Side. I probably watched more Twilight Zone than this, but I rewatched this now. I didn't watch every episode, but I was rewatching a few now for this video, and I forgot how much these episodes are right up my street, because I've noticed, these modern sort of shorts or segments like VHS, or there was a one on recently.
Careful now.
Hey, no. It was called Cabinet of Curiosities. It was on Netflix.
Guillermo del Toro.
They're really well made, produced, these other ones like VHS, but a lot of them don't have good twists. They just have a big monster popping out and it kills everybody, finishes. And to me, that's not a proper short story. Whereas things like Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone always had a 3-act structure and a really good twist at the end. Yeah. And like I know you love VHS, but apart from VHS 2, most of them is just a big slime monster and everybody dies.
It's about the aesthetic, Jenks. You're looking too deeply into the little details. It's the aesthetic.
So yeah, Jenks, you picked this episode, Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone, and it's perfect timing because that's actually the next episode I was going to cover anyway. So I was going to shoot this regardless. I'm really thankful that you guys are able to jump on so quick and fit this into your schedule. Do you want to give us like kind of the synopsis and your thoughts on the story here, Jenks?
Yeah, first off, it's a great title. Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone. It's so American, so out there, and I love it. It's a scientist kind of takes the gland out of a cat. We're doing spoilers, and
Hey, whatever you want to share, go for it. I mean, the show is it's 35 years old, so we're good.
Yeah, it's too late for that now. He knows that cats have 9 lives, takes the gland out of the cat, puts it in this homeless guy, and the guy then has 9 lives. And he starts having this act where people are killing him for money, and he's resurrecting. He's getting more famous, but he's becoming more sinister, more greedy. So it's from the point of view of him being buried in on his 8th life, I think, and he's telling the story from the coffin underground. What I love about it is it's so silly because he's making all this money and there's only about 5 people in the crowd. I'm thinking, who's generating this? Unless they're paying about 10 grand each.
It's a low budget show.
Yeah. And I love it. Every death is different. It's so sinister, and it made me laugh because I rewatched it last night when the announcer, I can't remember the guy's name, he's from Batman.
Robert Wool.
Yeah, so you've got the main character, Ulrich, who's played by Joe Pantoliano, as I pronounce it.
Yeah.
The guy from Matrix and things.
Baby's Day Out.
Oh, yeah, he's in Baby's Day Out.
And Goonies.
Wow. That's what I'll always remember him from.
And Goonies, yeah, Memento.
But anyway, he plays this guy called Ulrich. Yeah, so every death is getting worse. And it tickled me because the announcer was taking too long to explain what was going to happen. And someone shouted just, "Die already!"
Yeah.
That tickled me.
That's the bit that tickled me, yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So they drowned him. They shoot him with an arrow. They shoot him with a gun, I think. I could be wrong. Yeah. They electrocute him? Yes, they electrocute him. It's just great. But the twist is, spoiler alert, he forgot to count the death of the cat that they took the gland out. He was counting 9 lives from that point, and he remembers while he's being buried. And it's such a great sort of twist because you do kind of lose count because it is an easy one to forget. You're thinking it's an easy one, and it's not an obvious twist. I don't think anyway. But I love it. It's the kind of stories. I like monsters, and I like sort of silly stuff. I like Creepshow, but at those sort of stories, I prefer that. Yes, it's got a supernatural element, but it's still a little bit less monstery and a bit more sort of psychological, But big fan of this one.
Yeah, it's a great, like, I mentioned it in the very first episode. A lot of these are like tales of morality. So it's like, you have somebody that's acting like a total shithead, and then they end up getting their comeuppance, and you might follow them as the main character. Maybe you even start liking them and everything, but you know that somehow it's sort of going to come around and bite them in the ass in the end. And Joe Pantoliano is super charismatic here, really charming. He has to carry a lot of the episode as well. And I think this one is a lot of damn fun. What do you think, Curtis? Are you a big fan of Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone?
Yes, I really enjoyed this one, and this is another one that stuck in my head that I remembered because, like you said, Jenks, it's got a great premise and it's got a great twist at the end. But what makes me laugh is obviously when he starts doing this circus act, he's doing it with the doctor, isn't it?
Yeah, the scientist guy.
Yeah.
And he takes a 60% cut of his first pay, and he gives him a few notes. And I'm thinking, this guy's got 8 lives, right? And this doctor's taking a 60% cut. And then it kind of goes through that whole climbing up the ladder. You get them in films where you see someone's rise to fame, and you get that montage where they're making loads of money and they're counting in their trailer with their partner. And I'm thinking, how long can this go on? He's literally got 8 lives.
Yeah.
So what happens when his last life is gone? Do you know what I mean? But no, it's a cracking episode, like you said. The main actor, I can't remember his name now. We've said it 20 times.
Joe Pantoliano.
I just didn't want to pronounce it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's not. Because we don't have to. It's not our show. We can just Davey can do all the.
Perfect. I'll edit it. I'll put like a fake mouth over your mouth.
I was gonna say you can do some dubbing.
Yeah. When I don't know how to pronounce them, I just do a little cough. Like, I'll do it. That's close.
There you go. You do the Ash saying Klaatu Verata.
Yeah. No, it's a cracking episode. As my girlfriend pointed out when we were watching it last night, it is extremely 80s. The colouring, the acting, the extreme close-ups where the face is kind of warped.
I wanted to talk to you guys about that because, Richard Donner directed this episode. He's an accomplished director, the Lethal Weapon films, really the first 2 Superman movies with Christopher Reeve, even though they had somebody take over the second one, Goonies, all sorts of great films. But in this, I don't know if this was put together really quick or if he was just sort of jaded over his experience, or they just needed to have somebody direct this one because it looks a little slapdash as far as like some of the camera movement you guys were talking about, I don't know if maybe they're going for like a dreamlike kind of quality too, because there is something sort of nightmarish and surreal about putting that camera right in everyone's face. And Robert Wuhl, who you mentioned from Batman, I think he's fantastic in Batman, but here I feel like, he goes over the top, and I guess that's sort of part and parcel with the Tales from the Crypt vibe. But yeah, this episode is really fun, and same kind of thing like what you were saying, Curtis. I'm sort of like, dude, if you have this many lives, like, why don't you keep a couple in the bank just in case?
Yeah.
You never know, right? You never know.
And I think if he was making more money, you'd understand, but he's not making a lot of money. Even at the end, I think he makes
60%
about
60% cut.
Yeah, and I think he's only making about 50 grand at the end or something.
Yeah.
No, he's playing as if he's got unlimited lives, isn't it? Like he's
exactly.
Yeah, I think if they had more money, I think they probably would have wanted to end it like his career goes to Vegas and he's making big bucks. Mm-hmm. But you still get the circus tent vibe right to the end.
Yeah. If they ever brought back this show, this would be a great episode to modernize. I could see something like this where the person has like maybe a YouTube channel or some sort of like social media thing that they, they've got the 9 lives and they broadcast it all over the world. And it's like, once a month, this person does this grandiose like death act or whatever and comes back. And that can sort of, you could sort of build it up with like, now they really do have lots of money. They have security. Maybe people are trying to kill them so they can be famous as one of the people that enacted one of the deaths. Like it kind of lend itself to that.
Yeah, but would you get monetized after just like 8 videos though,
Yeah. Well, he'd shoot right up the charts. Maybe YouTube would try to block him for the content, but he'd find a way. He'd go over to Rumble, he'd find a way to make it happen. TikTok deaths,
I'd be super jealous.
That'll be like 30-second deaths. Just 9 quick videos on TikTok.
There it is. Yeah, you could just rush through all of them. Exactly.
Yeah, binge them all. I would say definitely catch this one. I don't know if you guys in America get Inside Number 9. Have you heard of it?
I haven't. No.
I highly recommend catching it. It's a British anthology show. It's very much like Tales from the Crypt. There's no monsters in it. There has been vampires, but it is very much like the 3-act is always a twist. Some of the twists aren't perfect, but this show is very much similar, and it's in my opinion, you have to have a twist. You can't just have Monster of the Week and then call it a day, But I love it. Yeah, highly recommend it.
Curtis, your final thoughts here on Dig That Cat?
Yeah, it's a great episode, and like you said, it's a great start to the season. I think it's one of the stronger episodes in season 1, But I need to give them another watch. But yeah, thank you for having us on, man. We appreciate it.
One quick thing, all the episodes are on YouTube.
Oh, they are all on YouTube. Yeah. Well, that's great.
That's
I'll
what I
just
watched
edit
them.
that in, just cut that in. Yeah. I'll drop a link in the description below for the episode on YouTube, and you guys can check it out.
Cool.
Thank you guys so much, and yeah, we'll see you next time. I think we've got you coming up here next season. We'll have another episode, so we'll see you then, and thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you spending your time here today.
Cheers, Davey. Thanks.
Cheers, Davey.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That was a total blast hanging out with those guys. Thank you so much to Steven and Curtis from Twisted Locker for coming on by. And of course, you guys can follow their YouTube channel by checking out the links in the description below. I've also included links for their socials as well, so you can just keep an eye on everything they're doing out there. Really appreciate you guys coming by to check out the video. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. And until next time, I've been and will continue being Davey Deathray. Take care.